guys miss me? Be honest. Well, let me just say the feeling is mutual. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to NYSA Presents and welcome to New York. I'm Johnny Lazy, your host and president of the NYSA. I am also the regional representative for the National Stereoscopic Association and once upon a time, secretary of the NSA, and the good one, yours. Today we're here to provide you with a preview of the most exciting annual event in this very special 3D community. And it's coming your way on August 12th, 3D-CON 2021. Today we're fortunate to have some of the folks who are instrumental in bringing this amazing event to you. Our hope is that we can make this virtual experience easy to manage and memorable in its own way. And there's even a happy hour where you can light up or leave me alone. But first, let me explain a little bit about NYSA Presents. NYSA Presents is the first regularly scheduled program for the stereoscopic community. It's created by the members of the New York Stereoscopic Association and the brilliant guests from around the world who share their time and talent for the greater good. No need to be an NYSA member to enjoy NYSA Presents. We also share stereo images from folks around the world. All are welcome. We can also be found on Amazon Fire TV and Roku, and we're live right now in VR at Allspace. Due to the hard work of NYSA member and NYSA Presents Videotech, Jay Kuznets. I hope I did that right, Jay. Eventually I'll get it. By the way, we've been teleconferencing virtual guests to our in-person meetings since 2014. Even with that experience, this was a complicated undertaking, but 3D enthusiasts have found the value in it, and we love doing it, so we're here to stay. And I'd be remiss without mentioning one of the founders of the NYSA who's no longer with us, our dear departed friend, Sheldon Aronowitz, who would always brag about never missing an NSA convention. He was a good friend of mine, a vital part of our organization, and the 3D community at large. We all miss him dearly. Well, if you're watching this, you probably already registered for the convention. If you have not, there'll be a link in the chat, or you could just look at the email that you received from us. There'll also be instructions a little bit later on. Registration is free, so I urge you to do so now. There's a caveat associated with that if you want cool stuff. By the way, while you're registering for stuff, you can register for the new season of NYSA Presents, which begins on Saturday, September 11th, 2021. Same time, same channel. Being in New York City, our 9/11 shows are legendary. But just to make it clear, even though you've registered for today's event, you need to register for NYSA Presents again at least once, and that gets you into all 15 of our shows. Just go to our website, www.3dnsa.org. Plenty of great stuff coming your way this year. We have more of Joe Pedotto's ANAGLYPH Jukebox, interviews with inventors, entrepreneurs, and other guests that are bound to leave you wondering. And if that's not enough, we also have the only 3D podcast. Last but not least, we'll be doing some live 3D on Instagram and VR, in VR. Tricky stuff, I assure you. As a matter of fact, if you register for 3D-CON and choose the $30 package. I know that's confusing because I just said it's free, but there's a really cool swag. And actually, $30, what is that? That's less than an Uber ride to the corner, at least in New York City. And you get some really nice swag and all types of 3D paraphernalia, including viewers and other cool stuff that in the bargain will help you to enjoy not only NYSA Presents, but other things along the way. Here, this is what it looks like upside down. I like everyone who stand on their heads, because that's how I am. I like to get the obedient audience. There we go. I'm going to let Conference Chair Stephen Berezin explain that. Well, I'm sure his spleen is fine, and hopefully it will continue to be so. Conference Chair Stephen Berezin explain that to you in a moment. And like the Willy Wonka golden ticket, you may even get an official New York Stereoscopic Association Happy Epidemic mask, like one of these, in your swag bag. That's it if you're one of the first 500 callers. And actually, they were shipped late. So if you don't get one, stop by and see us the next time you're in New York City. And make sure you get vaccinated. Now, If you invest in your 3D education just a little more, you can join the NSA at a show discount. By the way, you'll get this great publication. And what makes it even greater is we got an ad in there. so,
actually, John, not to interrupt your flow here, but we sent out in the email that we have put the latest PDF of Stereo World on the website. So if you're not a member, you can go there and you can see that PDF available for free. So I'll put the link in the chat a little bit later.
Thank you very much, Dave. That's important information. Hey, look, let me tell you something. Once you see that, if you're not a member already, you're going to join right away, because it's great information, and I can't say enough about it. If you really want to up your game, man, you need to join. Okay, today we're going to hear from Steve Berezin, this year's conference chair. His website is Berezin.com, and he has a wonderful variety of 3D products, all there for your enjoyment. Now, Phyllis Maslin was last year's conference chair for the first virtual 3D-CON, and this year she's the social director for this year's convention, which is redundant, but nonetheless, I'm being redundant, not her, because she's a delightful lady who's not redundant at all. As a matter of fact, the social director is great. I'm sure I'll meet her. If it wasn't virtual, I'd meet her in a parking lot to smoke a joint. Only kidding. Now, Colleen Woolpert, with the website of the same name, is an interdisciplinary artist who is half of a side-by-side stereo card. Tell me more, Johnny Laser. Well, her identical twin is the other half. It's an amazing story, and I urge you to visit her website. But for today, she's Queen of the Trade Fair. Come on down, Colleen, and wait till you see the job she's done. Anyway, and also we'll tour Gather.town. So I finally got it right. With NYSA member and NYSA Presents Video Tech, Dave Heiser, who is in Sun City, California. And last but not least, NYSA Secretary and Technical Director, Advisor, and generally good guy, if you get him on the right day, Dave Comeau. He'll be coming to you from Brooklyn, New York. And he'll go through the navigation of the website and try to make it as easy as possible for you to enjoy this phenomenal convergence of talent. We'll also be seeing a short VR clip from NYSA member and NYSA Presents VR and 3D Mosaic creator, Jim Harp, who will be hosting a seminar on VR and Unity that I urge you to attend. And let's see. And while I have a chance, let me congratulate the founder of the London Stereoscopic company, Brian May, on a successful re-release of his solo record, Back to the Light. It was released yesterday on Friday. He obviously was not satisfied with having a month named after him, but now he's grabbed the day of the week. But he's earned it. To order, just go to brianmay.com and tell him Johnny Laser sent you. They won't know what the hell you're talking about. But anyway, we are your champions, Brian. Thank you so much for helping the 3D community with great products and the attention to, gathered by your other interests. By the way, we're planning a walk through the London Stereoscopic Company with director Denny Pellerin in this season's NYSA Presents. Have you had enough? Now, on with the show. First up, we're going to have to wake him up after that long entry. Wake up, Stephen. Now, on with the show. First up is Steve Berezin, conference chair, currently in a chair, actually, in Southern California. Take it away, Steve.
Yeah, hopefully I'm not literally in the chair. Okay, hi everybody. Everybody having a good Sunday morning? Or Sunday afternoon where you are. I forgot everybody else is muted.
Or Saturday.
No, but the fact is he's in California.
Saturday?
You've been breaking into that good, whatever that... You could join Phyllis and me in the parking lot.
Sounds good. Okay. I want to introduce myself. I'm Steve Barrison. I am currently president of the LA 3D Club. It's a club that's, we're celebrating our 66th year. We've been around a long time. So we have our meetings every third Thursday, and every third Saturday we have a workshop. So if you're interested, just go around to la3d.com, and actually LA, there's a dash in there somewhere, and you'll find our site, or search for LA3D Club. I'm also part of board member of the National Stereoscopic Association. They put on 3D-CON. National Stereoscopic Association supports stereo. They put out collections of stereo cards. They don't put out the collections, they put out listings of stereo cards in certain selections. Of course, they put 6 issues of Stereo World out a year, which is a really good publication. So I'd recommend. We have a discounted Stereo World NSA on the website. We have a discounted set. And I'll just tell you a little bit about what's in the packet. We have this. You can go around to our site. We're going to talk a lot more about 3D-CON. The people in the individual divisions that are in my staff are going to be the ones talking about what they do. This is the postcard. The swag that you get will allow you to view the postcard. So this is from London Stereo. It is the OWL Steampunk, and you can use this to view the parallel images. Most of you know how to do that. There's also a cross-eyed view. We also have Vanderbilt Glasses, so you can view this. And then I'm going to give you a listing of everything on here. I'm not going to wear these, look silly. In the packet, you get a Viewmaster reel and packet. That's a really great Viewmaster reel. One of you New York members has what I think is one of the best images in there, David Hazan. OWL Light Viewer, Pixie Viewer. This will probably be your last chance to get a Pixie Viewer because the company is discontinuing everything. So if you want a Pixie Viewer, that's good. Cardboard anaglyph, cardboard polarizer, Gunnar glasses, which are circular polarized. You get a postcard, you get a Fantagram postcard, 3D space postcard, other letters, and pretty soon you will be getting a mask from New York Stereoscopic Association. So that's everything you get in there. I wanted to talk about that a little bit more. The only other thing I wanted to talk about, since he's not here, is Eric Curlin is the program director. He has a lot of really good programs. Denny Pellerin from London Stereo. That's Brian May's company. He'll be doing a really good presentation on theatricals. That'll be one of the keynotes. The other is Dimitri Portelli. He's a cinematographer for Hugo. So if he is out here, he will introduce that during this meeting if he gets in later, but I don't think he's going to be here. Another person I wanted to mention is David Kuntz, who designed the Viewmaster reel. He's not here. And the cover, and also helped with quite a few other things. So I wanted to make sure David Kuntz was mentioned. And he also designed the 3D glasses with the nice figures here. So even though he's not here, I wanted to make sure he got a little credit. One thing I wanted to let you know, this isn't my first rodeo. I have done 2 3D-CONs before this, but they weren't virtual. So this is my first virtual 3D-CON I'm showing. I tried to keep most of the staff from last year because they did an excellent job. So I'm trying to kind of preserve what we did last year and throw on a few new things, a little icing, whipped cream, and nice cherries and all that. So that's it. Any questions, Johnny Laser?
No, I think you pretty much well covered it all, and thank you for mentioning. I forgot. I can make mistakes too. It's incredible, but it's true. Right, Gordon Al. If you once you get one of these cards, you'll see Gordon Al, NYSA member, violating your personal space. Just put on a pair of those 3D glasses, and that's exactly what happens. He reaches around your head. No, you did very well. And, oh, you forgot to tell them about the special. This is going to be collectible one day. This box they send it in. You know, it's just wonderful. It's got your name on it and everything. You could say this. You could hand this on. This is going to be great for your a keepsake for all your children. The entire family will go back and say, "Who needs the glasses? This box is great." No, all kidding aside, and there's not a chance of that happening. I'll reinforce that. If you haven't joined, I'm sure you guys have all joined already. If you haven't joined, join the NSA. It's a great organization. And again, it is. If you really are serious about this 3D, you got to join because it does enable you to up your game. So, for our next, thank you. Oh, by the way, I forgot. I would get in trouble for this. All right.
Oh, for Steve, yes.
Great job. Thank you. Thank you. Now we're going to hear from Phyllis Maslin. She's this year's convention social director, and of course, as I mentioned, last year's convention chair for the first virtual 3D-CON. And she's also probably the one most likely to show me the door at a real convention. She's coming to us from the state of Washington. So I bring you Phyllis Maslin. Take it away, Phyllis.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Hello, everybody. I get to do the really fun thing this time of handling the social hour or happy hour. It's a bring your own beverage or whatever. We're going to do things a little bit differently this time. On Thursday, we are going to introduce to you the trade fair vendors so that you get to find out a little bit about them and what they have for sale. And on Friday, we will meet the artists that are in the art gallery and find out about their websites and the kind of wonderful art that they've been producing. And Saturday night, we're don your best Hawaiian shirt and we'll have a Zoom meeting with Hawaiian shirts all over the place. The best thing about 3D-CON to me is being able to get together and see my friends I haven't seen for a year, and in this case, a little bit longer, and to get to meet the new people. And we have a lot of new people joining NSA. So it's a great time to get together. We'll be doing most of this on Zoom, but we're also going to be going to Gather.town, which you will hear more about shortly. So look forward to seeing everybody.
Thank you very much, Phyllis. Yes, if I didn't make this clear, Q&A, we're going to hold Q&A until what we typically call the after party, just the end, so that you can get a chance of to ask those questions. And also you'll be visiting Gather.town, where the rent's so low and the partying is high. No, Gather.town is very interesting, and it was very engaging last year. It wasn't Gather.town, but they used something else. But I tried it, and it's really pretty cool. It's cooler than you think, because you really hear people. You can feel like you're in a conversation. It quickly takes over that part of your brain, and you go. Anyway, speaking of brain, our next presenter, or we're going to now hear from the Queen of the Trade Fair, Colleen Woolpert, the Trade Fair organizer. She's currently in Kalamazoo, Michigan, former home to Gibson guitars, where the American-made and world-played Les Paul guitar was once made. Take it away. Take it away. Take it away, Colleen. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Johnny Laser. I did have a New York State zip code at one point, but I'm back to my home turf. Yes, I'm the trade fair organizer, and I was last year as well for the first virtual convention. I've also been a vendor myself for 3 real conventions, and I'll be back in the virtual trade fair. So what is the trade fair, you're wondering? The trade fair is like your favorite mall of all things 3D. It's a great, wonderful place to visit. And it's also a knowledge center, I would say, because you can walk around and actually talk to the vendors and kind of pick their brains. A lot of people have been dealing in their specialty area for years and years. So they welcome conversations, and you can maybe get turned on to a new area of interest or learn more about what you're already passionate about. All right, what can you find in the trade fair? Well, maybe your first childhood 3D toy, the Viewmaster, and get some reels to go with it. Maybe you're a collector of old stereo views, or what I call stereographs, and you want to pick up more for your collection, you'll find those. and all manner of stereoscopes to view them with. Old devices, new devices that clip on your phone. My phone is acting as a hair light right now, but you can imagine that. Stereoscopes for looking at images on your monitor. All kinds of viewing devices. Oh, and the one that I make, the twin scope viewer. You might find also old cameras and new cameras for shooting. There's a film camera. Let's see, it's a pinhole camera that's being sold. If you're shooting with your smartphone, there's a device that clips on the front and gives you 2 lenses from one. So there's viewing devices and shooting equipment, and we've got also some gift items like cards, books, and the hefty tomes. Y'all know who puts this out with the included viewer. That and a whole lot more. Even some 3D inspired jewelry. Very cool. So when do you go to the trade fair? The trade fair opens when the convention starts, and it will stay open the entire time. So just hop in between events whenever you can. And also I would definitely recommend shopping during the convention and not waiting till afterwards, because a number of the vendors are offering show specials, really great deals, up to 50% in some cases, but only during those 4 days of the convention. It's also a situation where the vendors are standing by to take your phone calls or your emails, and it'll make them feel good if you actually get in touch and reach out during the convention. How do you find the convention? Well, you'll see that there's a dedicated webpage on the trade fair website, and each vendor has a listing with a description of their wares, some links to go visit what they have for sale, and their actual contact information, so you can reach out with an email or a phone call. And maybe you're looking for something that you don't see in the trade fair, and you want to ask the vendor who specializes in that object if they have it, because maybe they've got a whole like downstairs basement or closet full of stuff and they haven't actually mentioned that particular thing. So besides the web page, you can also find the trade fair vendors in Gather.town, which we talked about a couple of times. We're going to preview that real quick right now. Kuntz will take us to Gather.town trade fair just briefly here. So here's our bird's eye view. We go to the trade fair. Now you guys are getting a special preview of the vendors. Nobody else has seen who the vendors are going to be yet. So we've got 13 vendors, and let's go into the Berezin stereo photography products booth. Once you go in the booth, you need to click the X on your keyboard, and it takes a minute, but it'll load the information that the vendor has provided with what they have for sale and any links, their show special, etc. To leave that information, you just click the X again and you're back in the trade fair. And it's really cool if the vendor is available in Gather.town, you can have a one-on-one conversation just like in real time inside of the booth, and you don't hear anything outside of the booth, just the 2 of you guys are talking, or 3 or 4, however many people are in that booth visiting the vendor. So that's the trade fair. Shh, you're getting a quick peek at who the vendors are. We're going to take that down after today, but please come back during the convention and visit us. Thanks.
One quick question. Now, how do you pay for stuff? A bale of hay, Bitcoin, PayPal? How does that happen?
It's all barter, John. No,
I get that.
It's really up to the vendor. A lot of people in the direct web links that they have, it'll take you right to their eBay store or their website. You can pay that way. Some folks with their show specials, they contact me directly. And even if they have items on a web page, call them or email them and say, I want that item at your 20% discount. And they'll get in touch with you and you guys can arrange that. Many people take PayPal or Venmo or all the general ways, but you'll see that for each vendor, it's individual.
That's fantastic. I think that's a great way to explore people's all these passions that they have that they're selling, because it's just, rather than groping around the internet trying to figure out, they're all there, and as Colleen said, you can speak to them, discuss their products. It's a once in a year possible opportunity.
Yeah, please come.
Alrighty, while we're on Gather.town, where the drinks are low, where the rents are low and the partying is high, you're going to enjoy Gather.town. We're going to head over to our video technician and brilliant fellow, Dave Heiser, in Sun City, California. Well, let's go and Take it away there, David.
Is that playing? This is a brief video showing you what you will
It's
see.
playing. It's playing.
You click on the link to the 3D-CON Gather.town space. I'm Dave Heiser, your friendly tour guide. And just so you don't get confused, please remember, I'm not Dave Comeau, David Kuntz, or David Starkman. This space is set up as a virtual convention hall with multiple rooms where you can meet friends, view the 3D artists gallery, browse the trade fair, ask questions of presenters, or relax with a purring cat. Here are a few notes to begin with. Mobile devices like phones and tablets are not supported in Gather.town. You can get into the space with them, but things just won't work right and you'll get frustrated, so don't bother. Gather.town is not essential to your enjoyment of 3D-CON. If you're unable to connect to Gather.town or would prefer not to use it, you can still enjoy all the 3D-CON events through Zoom, YouTube, and the website. You can enter Gather.town anytime from now through the end of the conference, but some features won't go live until the conference begins. When you want to leave Gather.town, close the browser window. And here's a very important note. There can be audio conflicts between Zoom and Gather.town, which will cause echoing and feedback. So if you are going from a Zoom session into Gather.town, remember to mute your microphone in Zoom, or better yet, leave the Zoom session completely. In a future video, I'll show you how to safely join a Zoom session from inside Gather.town. Okay, let's go to Gather.town. When you go to Gather.town the first time, you'll see this screen. You can customize your avatar or just accept the default. Please enter your real name so people will know who you are. Then click Next. On this screen, you can select which of your cameras and microphones you prefer to use. I can hear some of you saying, yeah, right. If you're not in a Zoom session, your default camera and microphone should show up and you should see yourself in the video panel. Notice the microphone and camera icons in the video panel. They will show up again in the Gather.town space, and you can use them to mute yourself or to turn off your camera. Now click Join the Gathering. You'll be presented with a short tutorial on the basics of Gather.town. I suggest you don't skip it. At the end of the tutorial, you'll be dropped into the welcome area of the 3D-CON Gather.town space. We'll pick it up from there in the next video. Bye.
And in case it wasn't clear, we are going to go into Gather.town for the after party of this meeting at the end.
Yes, that was great. By the way, hold on a second.
The last video I showed you how to...
Are we going through one more?
This video
Sorry
is
about that.
lots of Gather.town tools and features that can make your visit a more pleasant experience. What you're seeing is a browser window with a participant panel on the side and tool panels along the side and on the bottom. A portion of Gather.town is displayed in what I'll refer to as the space panel in the center. You can see my avatar in the welcome area of the space. In the lower right corner is a video panel. Notice the microphone and camera icons. At the bottom of the window is a toolbar showing my name and avatar. If I click on the avatar, I can change my character, and unfortunately, extrovert is not one of the options. I can also change my name and save it. Now I'll click on my name. Here, I can add some information about myself, for instance, like a business name, and it will show up in the participant panel on the side. The other feature that I want to show here is the respawn tool, but I'll demonstrate that later. To the right of your name is what looks like a folded map. Click on the mini-map to see a pop-up map showing your location in the space. Click on the X in the upper right corner to close the map. On the left side of the window is the participant panel, which will list all the visitors in the space. You can search for a friend or a speaker or vendor here to help you find them in the space. I'll talk more about that later. There's a chat panel where people can send messages to everyone or to individuals. Unfortunately, the chat panel and the participant panel can't be displayed at the same time. I'm going to ask you not to use the build panel because I don't know what kind of chaos it can cause. Before I show you the setting tool, I want to talk a little bit about screen zooming. You may want to zoom in or out while in the Gather.town space. There are a couple ways to do that. Browsers have a built-in zoom function. You can press the Control key or the Command key and press the plus or minus keys, or use your scroll wheel. Unfortunately, in Gather.town, that won't work very well. There's a better way. If you go to the settings and scroll down to where it says Use Smart Zoom and click that off, it reveals manual canvas zoom with a slider bar. Here you can change the zoom factor in the space window without affecting the rest of the browser. Well, I hope this helps. In the next video, I'll be talking about interacting with people and objects. Bye.
That was the last for this, right, Dave? Mr. Heiser? Oh, you're mic'd. But hey, listen, everybody, let's give Dave a serious round of applause, man.
Your guy, Dave. There was one more. This video will show you ways.
Well, we're gonna give you one more applause anyway because we're gonna say for really the next one's gonna be a burst.
Normally distance sensitive. When people are close, they can hear and see each other just fine. As they separate and become distant, their audio and video fade out. My friend Mr. Meslin is over here to the west of me. You can't see him very well because he's far away. I'll just mosey over and say hi. Notice that as I approach, Mr. Meslin's video panel and his avatar become more clear. We can now hear each other and see each other and carry on a conversation. I just clicked on Mr. Meslin's microphone icon to mute him. Mr. Meslin can still hear me, but I can no longer hear him. Muting someone this way doesn't mute them for everyone, only for you. Another option is to block someone by clicking on the block symbol in their video panel and then confirming. This blocks all communication between you and that individual. Neither of you can hear or see each other. I can unblock anytime.
There we have it.
If you're having a conversation with someone and someone else approaches and enters your vicinity, they can join in your conversation. And if you want to leave, all you have to do is just step away and you are no longer part of that conversation. There are several locations in Gather.town where people can see and hear each other at any distance. These are called privacy areas. They're called that because people outside of the area cannot see or hear what's being said inside the area. Mr. Meslin is in a very large privacy area called the Berezin zone. I am outside of the area, but as I step in, I will be able to hear his radio as if he were standing next to me.
Surveillance options. Quickly identify mutation.
Note that I can still mute people inside of a privacy area. Also note that the floor appears to become brighter when I step into a privacy area. There are privacy areas in several of the rooms in the 3D-CON Gather.town. There's areas in the center of the trade fair and the artist's gallery where people can have group discussions, and each booth is also a privacy area where people inside the booth can talk with the vendor or each other and no one outside will be able to hear them. Another way to achieve privacy is to create what's called a bubble. If you get close to someone and then double click on their avatar, you'll see that there's a little bubble that's created around them. Now, you are in close conversation with that person and no one outside of that bubble can hear you. To exit the bubble, you can click on Leave Bubble, or you can simply step away. There are a couple of ways that you can join up with someone in 3D-CON Gather.town. I'll start here by looking for the 3D nerd. I click on his name, and then I say Locate on Map. It turns out that he's in the art gallery, so I'll follow that line and join him in the art gallery. then I can say stop following. Another way to join up with someone is to say follow. So if you choose the person and then click follow, your avatar will automatically go to that person's avatar and basically cling to them. So as that person moves around, so will you. You can stop following someone by going to their name and clicking on stop following, or by going to the bottom of the screen and clicking stop following. Following is a good way to lead a group of people around on a tour around the space. There's not an easy way to stop people from following you. They either have to unfollow you themselves, or you actually have to close your browser tab and then re-enter Gather.town again. I hope this video has been helpful. The next video will be about interacting with objects in the 3D-CON Gather.town space. Bye now. So I haven't actually the last video yet.
You were saying?
No, I was just saying that there's going to be a fourth video. I haven't finished it yet, but it's going to be about how to interact with objects. But you've already seen some of that.
Well, I would say this much. Thank you for telling me about the hammer not to touch, because that's obviously the first thing I'm going to do. But that was great. Listen,
well, actually, we fixed it. We got rid of the hammer yesterday.
Okay, well.
No hammer for you.
You buried the hammer, shucks. Anyway, you know, let me tell you, if you haven't tried these kind of interactive fun things like this is a perfect time. It really is. It seems harder than it is, and he's made it extremely simple to understand. But it's like swimming. You jump in once, either you drown or you swim. I assure you, you'll swim. I'm pretty confident anyway. Really great. Now, the question I would have is, or I do have, not would have, how long after the convention will that place be open? Is there like, you know, can you kind of still meet people in there? And I know no one will be there to answer the trade fair stuff, but is that still, anyway, you got my point. I hope you do.
Yeah, well, it's open all the time. There's not really an off switch. So you can go in 7/24 and it'll be there until we decide to actually take it down.
That's the answer. So in other words, it'll be there past the end of the convention, possibly.
Right, it will be, right.
Now, to get into it, you would just follow the same rules, right? I could meet you in there next week, so long as I got to Gather.town. Right. Yeah.
Once you signed in the first time, you've got an avatar and you've gone through all that initial stuff. Next time, you'll just drop right in wherever you left off.
That is fantastic. So, thanks once again, man. And you had a little bit of woe, and to come back that well is amazing. And I'm sorry I interfered a few times, but that's what makes that separates the. Could we say men from the boys anymore? From the people from the, I don't even know what you'd say, but I'm going to stick with men from the boys for now.
Thanks. I got a little confused there.
No confusion whatsoever. Last but not least, most of you stuck around too. Pretty good. Last but not least, Dave Comeau, who'll walk us through the show website.
Thank you very much, Johnny Laser. Just to point out that Dave's documentation will be available on the theater screen. And I'm going to bring up a quick poll here to launch. I didn't want to mess with anybody else's thing, but just a quick poll to see if you're registered for 3D-CON, if you plan to register, and if you're a member of the NYSA. So that, hopefully, if you press the button, you can get rid of it. Let's see. So let me share my screen. I'm Dave Comeau. I'm the technical director of the convention, as I was last year. So I kind of handle all the little bits of things that need to happen online and cobble things together behind the scenes, send out emails and whatnot. So what I'm going to do is show you the website. You can see the website screen, I hope. Give me a nod or a thumbs up or a little dance. Okay, cool. All right. All right, fantastic. So this is the website. that the folks have been hard at work. This is the live website. So everything you want to do at the convention, you can find and on the website. There's a button to register now. We'll just click on that really quick. If you haven't registered for the convention, it's really easy. You can read this information. I don't know if we mentioned it's free, but you can also get the souvenir packets. And at risk of running this, the registration thing to death, I just want to show you really quick how to do it. So you just go to the page, you click on this green button, and then you're off at this Eventbrite page, which is the system that's handling our registration. This is where you can enter a promo code if you have it. We don't have any yet. If you want to register, you just click here, and then you're good to go. You can go and click checkout, and you've got a free registration. If you want to add on that nifty souvenir packet that Steve was talking about in the beginning, you can click to go to this drop down, and you can see if you're in the US, you want to choose this option, choose multiple ones, or if you're international, you choose this option for a little bit more. And also, as we recommend, if you want to get the NSA membership, or if you want to renew your current membership, you could choose one of these options. So just choose it here, and then when you click checkout, then it will continue on to the next screen where you'll have to enter information. You can put in your name and you can check out as a guest. Since I'm logged into Eventbrite, it knows my information. So you can pay by PayPal or pay by check. You want to fill in your information to get things shipped to you. And then if you fill in all the starred information properly, you'll get a button to place the order. If the place order button doesn't appear, then that means you need to fill in one of these required fields. Okay, you click that, and then you'll be good to go, and you'll be in the loop for the convention emails, etc. So if you have any questions about that, we can handle those after the meeting. That's the registration. So back to the page. I'm going to quick pop over and look at what the staging site looks like. So when we actually go live, there will be a button for the current event. So all you need to do is click here, and then you're going to agree to our code of conduct, just some verbiage, just don't be a jerk. You just click on the Zoom link, and that'll open up the Zoom link to whatever is currently in session, and here will be a description. You can also view everything in YouTube. So if you click on this, or I think if you go back to the main page, you have a button to get to YouTube. And if you click on that, you'll get to the YouTube page. And if you subscribe to this, that makes it easy to get to in YouTube. And then also you can view it on a set-top box. If you're watching any of the stereo theater, which is in the side-by-side or ANAGLYPH content, you can view on a 3D TV or 3D device. So if you subscribe to it, then it'll be easy to get to over on that other device by going to your subscriptions or your recent videos. So that's YouTube. There's a couple things which most of the things will be available on the YouTube page after the event, but I know that the keynotes and 2 of the stereoscopic sessions will not be available later on. And some of the 3D theater content may not be available after the convention based on licenses. And we also talk about this 3D-CON Facebook group. So is anybody out there a member of the Facebook group? If you're there. So, okay, so a couple people, cool. So that's a great place for the pulse of the convention. So if you have anything that you're looking for specifically and you want to put something there, or if you have any questions about the convention or something interesting, I saw this person signed up and said, hey, I'm into aerial photography. And I thought, oh, cool, that's that Operation Crossbow World War II stereo thing. So a lot of interesting conversations go on. And also admins may put some late breaking schedule changes or information you need to do or you need to know about into here in the group. And also if chat is turned off for some kind of important convention thing and you want to have a conversation, you can go there, not to mention names Ron. But so let's go back to the web page, and over here is this news and updates. We're going to try to update that with anything late breaking. And that's about it for the main page, right? So on the left, you can go to the schedule. Here you have a printable PDF where you can click to open that in a new tab. Just to look at a quick overview of the convention, we have these things that are going on during the conference. At the top, we've got the Gather.town, the alt space in VR, which is going on. And then we also have that Facebook group, and also the art gallery, trade fair, and the stereo view competitions will be live on the website. So here you can see the schedule. It'll list, it'll say in Pacific time up here. So we have this welcome event, we have great workshops, special interest groups, and then as Phyllis mentioned, every day at the end, we have a trade fair, the happy hour. And then after the happy hour is over, we'll have the after party over in the Gather.town. And then Saturday night, we're not having a Zoom happy hour. Everything's happening in that Gather.town space. Saturday is also exciting because we have the keynotes happening, and we're looking at adding another movie slot at the very bottom, the late breaking one. And that's about it. Then the convention winds up on that Sunday. We have a meet the board officers, which is fun. And then we have our big awards and the digital image showcase, which will be streaming, and then finally that final happy hour. So there's that. The next couple links are informational. This is information about the keynote speakers, which are really great. The 3D theater, we're going to update soon with the lineup of what you're going to see in the 3D theater every day. The workshops and special interest groups. This is a description of the workshops, and also if the speaker has any additional information, that's where we're going to put a little link here so that you can go in, and the speaker might say, oh, go check the page and I have a PDF of further links or follow-up kind of information. The sessions on the history of stereoscopic photography is on Friday morning, and it's a really great event with 9 different scholarly kind of speakers. This page has a description, and then it's a little bit tiny, but it has a little thing saying you can view this with a lorgnette, or it has anaglyph content. And then there should be also the HTML5 views on each of these. So you can click and you can view on your 3D TV or VR some of the information. And we may be streaming this in StereoPix rooms like we've done some of the past NYSA meetings, but that's subject to us getting that done. All right, we're almost done here. So now we move on to the section that when we go live on next Thursday, these are going to have a little live next to them. So the competitions right now, modern and vintage stereo view competitions, will have a link here, and you can click on it and go and view some of the amazing submissions for the modern and vintage stereo view category that Chris Schneeberger is setting up. So some of these are really, all of them are really amazing. So definitely come back to this guy and click on the link when it happens. Same thing with the art gallery. Oops, that's live. So you just got a preview that no one else has seen at all on my little special area. But the art gallery will have cool stuff. And you can also go to the trade fair, which I don't think, yep, that's not live yet, as Colleen said. That'll be live next week. And then finally, we get to virtual reality, which looks a tiny bit different. So right now in virtual reality, you can click and you can see kind of what's happening with, we have a preview on YouTube of the little space. So some of the people in VR right now are seeing alt space in VR while they're in VR, which is a little bit trippy. And so I can show you what I'm talking about, I'm going to add the spotlight. If you can see, I don't know. So this is alt space right now. There's a guy drinking while they watch. And then is that maybe Kurt? Okay, so that's Jay in alt space who's streaming it. And so if you have a VR headset, definitely check it out, where you can see content in actual stereoscopic 3D full color with the objects. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick it now over to Jim Harp, who will talk a little bit more about VR for the convention.
Hello everyone, this is Jim Harp. I'm hanging out in one of the AltSpace virtual galleries that's been created for this year's virtual convention. And the reality of this year's virtual NSA convention is there's going to be some amazing stuff happening in virtual reality. There's some incredible works that people have put together in the Orbix 360 platform. And there are so many different fascinating stereoscopic worlds on AltSpace. There are a few galleries that have been put together just for the convention, and people have done all kinds of amazing things in here. In terms of this gallery, you can see behind me on the wall over there are some vintage stereo cards that have been converted to be displayed in here. There's Gordon Howe's amazing postcard. Behind me are some 3D fractals William Turner created. They're being displayed as VR 180 spheres. Right here are some vases created by Stephen Slater. And these are really fascinating. These vases have stereoscopic pictures as their textures. What I find interesting about this is these are artworks that can only exist in virtual reality. You couldn't have something like this in the real world. And the fact is the real world is a bit overrated. I also want to mention Saturday morning, 9:30 Pacific time, I believe, I'm going to be teaching a workshop in how to create galleries like this using Unity. I don't know if I'll be able to cover the entire thing in 30 minutes, but I'll give you an overview of the process. I'll provide lots of materials and templates, and I'm hoping that this will encourage many of you to start creating wonderful galleries like this to display your inventions, your creations, and hopefully new art forms. So we're looking forward to seeing you there. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jim. What virtual reality is an amazing place. It is absolutely mind-blowing to be in a world where nothing special is needed to view stereo photography. It's just a part of reality here. On the first day of 3D-CON, join Jim and I for a special interest group discussion about stereoscopic 3D in VR. We'll discuss how to view stereo MPOs and side-by-side photos or movies. We'll also discuss how to view stereo content with other people. And finally, we'll speak with a few stereo artists who have ported their work into VR. We'll be running the session in Zoom and in AltSpace VR. I hope to see you there in whichever reality you choose.
Alrighty, so I'm coming back from this land now, if you'll bear with me un momento.
As he's moving in, I just figured out, can I get a little, okay, good. Anytime there's a dull spot, I'm coming out. I'm going to end up with the ukulele.
Is that your dulcimer?
No, the dulcimer's in the other room. We have a dulcimer player. One day when we have real conventions, we'll have like the most insane band that was ever created. And
all right.
I don't mind fronting it. Go ahead, David.
Cool.
Sorry.
So, all right. So let me just wrap up the tail end of this presentation while we're in here. So a couple other little tiny little bits on the website, which are cool, is the press kit. So if you're a member of a club and you want to pass on information, here's a press release we have. We have some images you can use. There's a promotional video. If you haven't watched this video yet, this is really great, done by Edgar Lend over in Germany. This is available on the website as well. Here's the contact information for some of the folks who have done a ton of work for us. If you need to reach out to anybody, the main email for the convention is info@3D-CON.com. Right, so you can click on that to get to the email. You got some frequently asked questions. There's a glossary, and then finally the links, which are really just if you want to link to the NSA and go and look at their website, look at that Stereo World issue. You can also find a local club if there's one near you, and you can also go into Gather.town. There's a little spot for that Dave made. And then finally the ISU, the International Stereoscopic Union, if you are international, and a group of these groups.io. Down below is the Facebook group. We also have a Twitter feed, and then the Instagram feed. If you're not into Instagram, etc., if you just click on that Instagram button, there's a lot of interesting little promo videos that Vanessa Grein out of Germany has been setting up. So there's a lot of fun sort of promo information out here. You can go and check that out before the event as well. So that is it. I hope to see you next week at 3D-CON.
Oh, what a phenomenal job. And this is for all these folks who just imagine how they earn their salaries. It's incredible. Wonderful, a brilliant, wonderful bunch of folks. We all should be very proud to have them, and I'd be proud to belong to an organization of folks that generous. Well, we'll be seeing you in September, but if you want to stick around, which you should, you'll be able to tour Gather.town. our traditional after party, we call it. So I think we're going to be queued up. But here, hey, for NYSA members and those, if you did not receive your membership card, just reach out to me because that all got taken care of. And I just want to be sure that if you bucked up, you got your card. So just send me an email. You know how to get to me. I don't hide. Anyway, thank you all. Have a phenomenal, wonderful convention. I will be there. That's a good reason for half of you not to show up. But I look forward to seeing you all. And I'll stop in a little bit after the after party. See you later. Mr. Heiser, take it away.
So hold on a second.
Don't-
Just so after we play this, then we're going to give the instructions to Gather.town.
Did that make that clear?
Yeah, if you want to join us in Gather.town for Q&A and or actually, does anybody? I think we wanted to ask if anyone had any questions first. You can put them in the chat, and then we'll close the show. Actually, we can just unmute maybe if people want. We can allow people to unmute.
That could work, and even you know what? Even if you, I'm just wondering if you could walk them through how to meet you in Gatherstown. Like do a quick, you hit this and see you in Gatherstown. Like have them show them how to get there.
Well, I'm going to put a link in the chat.
That's another way to do it. What an above average group. No questions. I don't know if it's okay. The hand went out. Well, there goes the average.
I have a question. Yes. So we've got Gather.town and we've got AltSpace. So two different places to go. Not everybody has a headset. So if people want to meet in one or the other, are there going to be different times for each one, or are they both going to be open all the time, or what's that all going to work out like? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would say AltSpace, we don't have the schedule of events hammered out yet for AltSpace. So I would say that for Gather.town is probably the place to meet if you want to meet people. If you're not in VR, there's no set time or place to meet in AltSpace at the moment. That might change. We might announce it, but we definitely have we have the happy hour in Gather.town on Saturday night. So that's where everyone will definitely meet up there.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a gallery in AltSpace, so that should be open at all times. The gallery will be. So there may be people who decide to stay there. You could talk with them. There won't be any moderation though.
Right. So that is a good point. So if and I'm not sure if anybody out here is thinking about going to AltSpace for the first time, but the way AltSpace works is that you have these worlds and you can visit them through a link. And once the world gets spawned up and you go in and look at things, other people can see that it's happening, so other people can join you. And that can happen at any time during the convention. In AltSpace, we also have events. So we have special events set up. Like right now, Jay has set up this event. And if I spotlight that, here's people watching the screen. Hello, folks out there in AltSpace. I'm trying, let me see if I can wave. Okay, he's got hands, that's good. And then there's a little emojis in there. So these folks are having fun in AltSpace and they're seeing stuff in 3D. And these events, we're gonna probably set up events for the keynote or keynotes. More information will follow on that, I suppose.
Is there a maximum capacity?
I think 30 for just a regular room, like the galleries, and then for these events, I'm not sure how it'll work.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, let's try to break it.
That's half the fun. Actually, that's all the fun, isn't it? Okay, good. Let's see. Oh, Lawrence Kaufman is waiting outside. He's banging on the door.
Oh, okay.
So, do we have any more questions? Do we? I guess people have been unmuted at this point, or they have their own choice to unmute.
Yep, I think people can either choose to unmute and ask a question, or you can raise a hand, or you can put something in the chat.
Oh, either you guys are the greatest presenters we've ever seen, or this is the most intelligent audience. Probably both.